Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is just around the corner, literally just 5 to 6 days away from its release, and a lot of fans around the world are either very worried or excited about that movie and exactly what Disney and Lucasfilm have to offer for the very final film of the Skywalker saga. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now today in this video we will be diving into the original ideas of the expanded universe and everything ranging from the character of Palpatine all the way over to a man named Cosinga Palpatine. Now in case you guys have no idea who Cosinga Palpatine is, it's actually spelled C-O-S-I-N-G-A. This was Palpatine's father in the EU. This was a very interesting character that I'm sure a lot of you out there don't really know all that much about. We have a character called Cosinga Palpatine, and we even have the grandson of Palpatine named Ken Palpatine. So that's a very interesting side of the EU, is that you do get to learn more about Palpatine's family and everything that actually happened some years well before the events of the Phantom Menace and everything related to Darth Plagueis, you name it. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that the father of Palpatine, named Cosinga Sheev Palpatine, in one of the abandoned novels that George Lucas rejected during the infancy of the expanded universe, explored the story of Palpatine's father and why he hated his son so much. Palpatine's father in the abandoned novel was considered an evil man, however did not use the ways of the dark side of the Force and was suspicious of his son's training through the ways of the Force with Darth Plagueis. Cosinga Palpatine was the type of father that would put all of his anger out on Palpatine as a child, and that this led to the anger that stirred up within Palpatine as a kid. It's explained that Palpatine's father was the one responsible for causing his son to dive into his dark side tendencies, and eventually fell into the control by Darth Plagueis. Now, Cosinga would often actually threaten his son, and that in the abandoned story for the expanded universe, Palpatine had 3 siblings, all of which were sisters. Cosinga was known as an arrogant man, a man who was a man of focus and power. Cosinga was often feared by his own wife and children. However, Sheev Palpatine never realized that the fear from his own father only made him stronger, and knew that his father would best help him on his journey to the dark side of the Force. Cosinga eventually met his demise on board of a starship that was destroyed by his own son by use of Force lightning, where Palpatine decided to kill his own father after he no longer needed him when his training was complete. It's said that Lucasfilm at the time even had planned an entire series of comics that would focus on Palpatine's father Cosinga, however instead decided to implement stories of Palpatine's father in the Darth Plagueis book some years later. The name Cosinga was said to be George's original name for Sheev Palpatine before switching it over to Palpatine's father in the expanded universe that was explored. Now, let's go over a couple of parts about everything related to the original story of Palpatine's father. Now, I don't know if you guys are very well informed on the EU, but it is a very interesting side of Star Wars. Now, the thing about the entire Palpatine family is that, yes, we do know that in the EU, Palpatine killed his entire family. All of his siblings, his mother, his father, and Disney and Lucasfilm, as we know right now, are even negotiating on exploring that and making elements of this canon in the new expanded universe that's going to launch in 2020. Again, keep in mind here that 2020 is going to be the year in which they will be launching a brand new EU. Now, personally, I will admit that I'm not really all for the new expanded universe, post The Rise of Skywalker, that's going to explore, Rey's life and Poe and Finn and stuff around those lines. I feel that it's not going to match anywhere near the original EU that we got in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Now, if you're a true Star Wars fan, you love everything related to the EU, everything related to Palpatine, his father, Darth Plagueis, you name it. Now, the thing that I like so much about Cosinga is that Cosinga is the man responsible that actually led to Palpatine tapping into the dark side and really kind of meddling with the dark side itself and testing the waters of the dark side of the Force and how he eventually fell into the hands of Darth Plagueis. And the whole story of Plagueis, by the way, I don't know if you guys ever read the novel, but the Plagueis novel explains a lot more about the Palpatine family, and the original stories that were rejected by George and Lucasfilm led to some of the explanations of what was actually told in the Darth Plagueis novel, etc., etc. So that's the great thing about Star Wars, is that we do get to learn more about Palpatine's family in the EU, and they're even trying to do that more in the new canon material, by the way, by Disney and Lucasfilm in 2020, moving on forward. So, I would like to hear what you guys have to say about Palpatine's father in the EU. Let me know what you think about all of this below in the comments. Everything related to Cosinga Palpatine, to how he was actually killed by his own son on board of a starship, where even his own wife was killed by Sheev. Very horrific story, I must add. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.